The Curse Beneath the Moonlight. Setting: Hangzhou, China, 2018. Part 1. The Fateful Invitation. In a narrow alley in Hangzhou, where dim streetlights cast long shadows over moss-covered walls, Liu Zihao, a 28-year-old freelance journalist, hurried through the drizzle. Zihao was known for his investigative reports on unexplained mysteries. With sharp eyes and a relentless curiosity, he had built a reputation for chasing the truth. But tonight, he was about to step into a nightmare he would never escape. That afternoon, Zihao received an anonymous message. If you want to know the truth about the house beneath the moonlight, come to Liuxi Village on the night of the full moon. Don't go alone. Be careful, it's waiting. There was no name, no phone number, only a string of strange symbols. Intrigued, Zihao searched for information on the so-called house beneath the moonlight, but found almost nothing. Just fragments of rumors about an abandoned house on the outskirts of Hangzhou, said to be cursed. Locals claimed that anyone who entered it under a full moon would vanish without a trace. Zihao didn't plan to go alone. He brought two close friends, Zhang Wei, a fearless photographer with silver-dyed hair, and Li Qingqing, a timid but brilliant folklorist. The three climbed into Zihao's old jeep and drove deep into the foggy mountains toward Liuxi Village. By the time they arrived, darkness had swallowed the landscape. The village was silent, abandoned. The wooden houses stood still, their windows empty like hollow eyes. At the end of a dirt road stood a crumbling old manor, its roof covered in moss and its windows shattered. A withered willow tree loomed before it. Moonlight bathed the house in an eerie glow, haunting, yet strangely beautiful. This must be the house beneath the moonlight, Wei whispered, raising his camera, excitement flickering in his eyes. Qingqing clutched her notebook, her voice trembled. Do you hear that? Like whispering? Zihao shook his head but felt a chill crawl down his spine. Don't think too much. We'll just take a quick look and leave. Part 2. Into the Nightmare. The main door groaned as Zihao pushed it open. A thick, moldy stench filled the air, accompanied by an unsettling feeling, like unseen eyes were watching from the dark. Inside, the house was shrouded in shadows, lit only by moonbeams filtering through cracks in the ceiling. Wei snapped a few photos. The flash revealed several portraits hanging on the walls, paintings of young women in traditional attire, their faces scratched out, their eyes erased. Qingqing shivered. I've read about an old custom from this region, she said. They believe that if you painted someone's portrait and removed their eyes, their soul would be trapped inside forever. Zihao frowned. You think these portraits are real? Before Qingqing could reply, a loud crash echoed from upstairs, as if something heavy had fallen. Probably just rats, Wei muttered, forcing a laugh. But Zihao's instincts told him otherwise. He turned on his phone's flashlight and started toward the creaking wooden staircase. Let's check it out. Every step moaned beneath their feet. At the top, they found a long corridor lined with closed doors. One stood slightly ajar, leaking a faint blue light that flickered like ghostly fire. We should leave, Qingqing whispered, clutching Zihao's arm. But Wei was already moving forward, camera raised. Come on, this could be something big. Wait, Zihao called, but Wei pushed the door open.
Part 3. The Curse Revealed. The room inside was nearly empty, except for a large mirror standing at its center. Its wooden frame was carved with serpents entwined around each other. The eerie blue light pulsed from within the mirror itself, casting distorted human shadows along the walls. Wei stepped closer, camera in hand. This mirror, it's wrong. He snapped a photo. The moment the flash went off, a horrifying scream erupted from inside the mirror. Wei stumbled backward, dropping his camera. Wei! Zihao rushed forward, helping him up. Wei's face was pale. I saw a face, it wasn't mine. Qingqing looked into the mirror, and screamed. Zihao, don't look. Don't. But Zihao was already staring. His reflection stared back, but its eyes glowed red, and its mouth twisted into a monstrous grin. Suddenly, a cold hand brushed his shoulder. He spun around, no one was there. We have to get out. Qingqing screamed, pulling them toward the door. But when they reached the staircase, it was gone, replaced by a solid wall. What the hell? Wei shouted, slamming his fists against it. Then came a deep, guttural voice, echoing through the air. You have entered where you do not belong. Now, you will stay, forever. Part 4, The Terrible Truth. Panicked, the trio ran through the corridor, trying every door. All were locked, except one. Inside, a small room held an ancient book on a dusty table. Qingqing opened it carefully. The yellowed pages were written in red ink, detailing an ancient ritual. Centuries ago, a wealthy family from Liuxi Village practiced dark magic, imprisoning the souls of young women inside a mirror to preserve their fortune. The ritual backfired, turning the mirror into a gateway to a shadow realm filled with tormented spirits craving freedom, and new hosts. It's not just a mirror, Qingqing whispered. It's a portal. And we activated it when we looked inside. Zihao clenched his fists. Then how do we escape? There's only one way, Qingqing said weakly. One person must stay behind, to free the others. Wei shouted, no way. I'm not staying here. Before they could argue further, blue light flooded the hall. Dozens of faceless figures emerged, wailing softly as they reached out with skeletal hands. Part 5, The Price of Life. Cornered, they huddled together. The voice returned, colder, closer. Choose. One, or all. Qingqing sobbed, clutching the book. Wei pounded the wall in despair. Zihao looked at them both, his heart heavy. He knew what he had to do. I'll stay. Qingqing screamed, no. Zihao, please. He gently pushed her away. If I stay, will you let them go? He shouted into the dark. The voice laughed, a low, guttural sound. Agreed. But your soul will never leave the mirror. Zihao turned to his friends one last time. Go. Don't look back. The spirits parted, revealing the staircase once more. With tears streaming down their faces, Wei and Qingqing fled. As they reached the courtyard, a violent tremor shook the ground. The house collapsed behind them, swallowed by dust and moonlight. Zihao's final scream echoed through the night, and then, silence. Part 6, Aftermath. Wei and Qingqing returned to Hangzhou but never spoke of that night again. Qingqing abandoned folklore research. Wei gave up photography. Both lived in quiet dread, haunted by the feeling of being watched through mirrors. A year later, Qingqing received a parcel with no return address. Inside was a photograph Wei had taken that night, of Zihao standing before the mirror. But his face was no longer his own. His eyes glowed red, his smile twisted, and his hand reached outward, as if to drag the viewer inside. Scrawled beneath the image, in crimson ink, were the words. Never look into a mirror under the moonlight.